Alright, now, I was talking with Ken via comments, and we were talking about LEDs and such. Now, I have some LEDs here, and I had some other ones. I might be able to show it to you actually. But I have two different types here. Now these are totally different from the other ones that we would think of being. Now let me see if I can find the other ones. I may or may not have kept them. Oh, here they are. Yeah, if I can get into there. Here we go. Now there's an LED. This gets so hot, it actually comes on a heat sink. We used to use these on the boats. Sailboats used to use them a lot because they really didn't have a whole lot of way of keeping their batteries charged, either through, if it was plugged into shore power or solar or something like that, or when they had their engine running, if they had an inboard, if they had an outboard, that's another story. So power was a big deal for sail, and these gave you a lot of light with very little cost to your amps, volts, or whatever. So these always work nice for that. However, they give off a lot of heat. Now that's one type, and this is the little things to hook up, and so they can attach to the heat sink and such. So you know they're nice, but this was the earlier days, and this was going into a light socket where a bulb would normally have gone. Now let me see if I can get a couple of small. What did I do with them? I know. Oh, here they're right here. I know I moved them right next to me, so I didn't have to keep getting up to get to them. But then you got to figure out where the hell I moved them to. So let's put this on here. Yeah, hold on. Come on, be nice. No, you're not going to be nice today, are you? I didn't think so. So anyway, I don't remember here. I don't think it made too much of a difference on what was what here. But let's see. Now they also have these in red, believe it or not. Yes, they do. So we're going to let that light. Okay? And that's that. Now they also have them in red. The red one is usually a little bit smaller. There's your red ones. And we're going to see what kind of heat that gives off. Now, is that one going to actually work? No. There's no way for me to actually use it. However, get down there more. So, I don't know. Are you seeing? No, you're not even seeing it, are you? I'm sorry, guys. Does that help? Somewhat. All right, hold on. We'll get you there. Yeah, okay. So anyway, there's no way for me to really get that one hooked up. Now, that can be an ambient type light, or some sort. This one, I may be able to. Do I have one out of the package? I guess not. This one I can probably figure out a way of hooking it up. Put this one back over there. And even this one. Now I ran one of these when I first bought these. I wanted to test it. So I hooked it up to 12 volts. And I just left it hanging over there in the corner on. And it's been, well, I think I threw it out. No, it's still hanging there, but it finally burned out. It's been over there for about 1.5 years. And I just left it there and let it burn. Just to see how long it was going to last. That's like a wafer. It's about the size of a $50. So I have that one. Now what I mean by ambient light, you know, if you put a couple of them under a shade, you'd get that light from it. You know, but these are none that I don't think I can actually just put into the wood like I'd wanted to, like a wheat grain or a grain of wheat. And I think I showed you the grain of wheats. These are called grain of wheats or wheat grains. And these usually they put them in meters on like CB radios or any type of a meter that's illuminated. This is what they used to use. I'm sure they're using different things now, but that's what they used to use. But if I put 12 volts in that, that'll get so hot I can't touch it. And I don't want to take a chance of having that kind of heat in a piece of wood. Sorry guys, I'm sucking on water here. So, the next thing is just buying some of those little LED strips, but even these get hot, but they don't get real hot, like this. This is green, by the way. So this is something that may work, you know, but again, you have to kind of figure out what you're going to do with it. But I do have an idea for that one. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's see what we got for heat here for a minute. Hold on. We're coming at 108 degrees on this. Yeah. So that's getting a little hot. You know, that's gonna, yeah, that's gonna get to a point to where it'll start wearing the wood down. And what I mean by wearing it down is it may not start a fire immediately, but over time the wood will start to wear down and its flash value will lower and it'll start on fire quicker. So, you know, and it's almost like taking a dry piece of wood and a wet piece of wood. You know, the wet wood will take longer before it actually gets to a point of fire because it's got to dry first. Well, even with dry wood, it's the same way. It does have a point where it'll start and catch fire at a lesser temperature. So, all right, so that was hitting about 108. So now, let's fire this one up. Now these are a little bit more of a bluish light to it. So we'll let that sit there. Where are we? Yeah, there you are. Well, let's put you up here, guys. How's that? There you go. So we'll let that sit there. Let's get a reading on it first. Well, if I can get a reading on it. Showing about 72. That's not too bad. So we'll let that sit for a minute and we'll see what happens. Now, what I was thinking of doing is taking a piece of wood. Well, here, I'll show you a piece of wood. Well, I'll just take something I already have. We took a piece of wood and you cut out like a V, almost like a fan belt, like a V type. And you cut that out and you cut it down an inch. Afango. Hold on, guys.
You wanted United Trip 1, Car 6, 75 Block Island, wastewater treatment plant, ASX.
So anyway, you cut it down about an inch. We'll just say, hypothetical. And then you take these in whatever color or the multicolor, and you put this into that cutout. And then you epoxy over it with some type of a tint. You don't want to go with a solid color, but you know, just a tint of color. And then you would have this, you know, all the way around. So it would give you some ambience light, you know, not being super bright, but yet, you know, giving you some type of a light. And you can still put a bulb on the top of it. So, you know, it's not going to take away.
901 from the facility. No smoke or fire, possibly malfunction of the alarm.
Alright. So that's another idea. You know, so there's endless amounts of ideas that you can do, you know, when you start farting around with these things. You know, just which one do you want to do or not do. I'm kind of like, got myself in a loop where I keep trying them all. So I've got some ready to put a light in. I got some ready to put the lights on the outside. I got a piece of wood ready to drill holes in it, you know, and put something like the grain of wheat. Now that's what I want to test. Alright, so hold on. Let me get a little transformer over here. Hold on. What's this transformer? What is this one for? What is this transformer for? I don't know. Oh, I do know. Okay. So if I was to take this with lesser power, because this will run off of lesser power. And stick that in there. And then find my wire strippers. Strip some of that off.
Computer, initiate the self-destruct sequence. Authorization Janeway Pi 110. Set it at 20 minutes.
And let's plug this in just to see if in fact it'll work with lesser voltage. My variable power supply is not working. Oh yeah, it does. But it's very low. So that is
No additional presence detected. Check those diagnostics, Dreadnought. You're talking to yourself. I believe we're having identity crisis.
where are we? Okay, the output is showing 10 volt at 0.5 amp. Well, 10 volt, that's awful dim. That's the amperage though. The amperage is what's keeping that low. So this, the amps are a little too low on this one. Alright, so let's see here. I wish I had my variable power supply. I gotta get another one for over here on this workbench because, well, let me see. Maybe I can, maybe. Let me see if this one is working. I don't think the what you call it is working on this one. The, oh shit, can't think of it now. Let's see how far down I can bring this from volt-wise. Ah. 7 volts would be alright, I guess. 7.8. Alright, 7.8 volts. That's not too bad. So let's see how bright this is going to be at 7.8 volts.
I may be able to detonate the warning before I breach the containment field. Then you get access to the core.
Not very bright at all.
I'm using my phaser to burn through
Can you
the
see that?
message defeating now. But the air's just too infinity.
That's not very bright at all.
Over the com and report to your escape pod. Captain. That's a direct order to all of you. Mr. Parrott?
Let me see here.
Now.
Oh, the voltage came down, that's why. So, okay, we're coming up now.
Warning. Destruct sequence has been initiated. Warp core overload.
No,